Okay, I think we're ready to get started. So I'm glad everybody was able to join. We appreciate you joining the webinar today. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Misty Corns. I've probably talked to a good bit of you. I also have Brittany Siegel on the line with me today. Do you want to say hi, Brittany?
Hello.
And also have Liz on. She's going to be helping with questions today, also at the end. Do you want to say hi, Liz?
Hey, everyone.
So what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at some highlights from the recent release, the release that happened last week. We're going to just going to be looking at the highlights. So if you haven't already taken a look at the full release, please do so. Please go in and look at all of the updates to the system. There's a lot of really cool things happening. I'm going to be covering some more of the look and feel, dashboard functions, some of those types of changes. Brittany's going to wrap things up with reviewing timesheets changes, as well as some scheduler changes. Now, if you're not using timesheets or the scheduler, feel free to drop off, but if you want to learn a little bit more about that, feel free to stay on. There's a lot of cool things happening with that too. Real quick, again, I just want to thank you for joining. We know you're busy. We are going to actually hopefully give you a little bit more time back to your day today. I think this might take a little bit less than 30 minutes. So that'll give you a little bit of extra time today. There is a questions box where you can type in any questions throughout the webinar. So if you see something as I'm reviewing the system, feel free to type any question in. Liz is going to cover those at the end, and then and Brittany can cover any questions also. This is being recorded, so if you do drop off, you will get a copy of this recording. Okay. Just also one other item, if you did not see the email, I just want to remind everyone or tell everyone that the deadline to convert to the new UI is July 15th. The toggle button will still be available until the toggle button will be retired on August the 12th. So that gives you a little bit less than a month to start getting familiar, but still gives you that safety net if you kind of get stuck. Remember, you can contact your CSR if you do get stuck. So, try to start using that new UI. We do have I think we're probably up to about 98% of our clients converted to the new UI now, getting a lot of good feedback on that. So just wanted to talk about that for a second. All right, so I'll go ahead and get into the system, and as I mentioned, I will be reviewing more of the kind of look and feel of the release. So I'm logged in as an administrator and in a demo company. So as this administrator, I've got a lot of things turned on. I really have, all of the modules turned on. If you see something that doesn't look familiar to you or you're interested in, definitely reach out to your CSR. It could be that you're not using that module, or it could be that it's just not turned on in the security or the settings within the system. So, so just kind of keep that in mind. The first thing that I want to point out with this new release is up here in the top left-hand corner, you may see initials in your system. Like when you log into the system, you may see your own initials. You may see a picture. So the pictures have been here for quite some time, but they were a little bit harder to upload. We've made it easy. So when I hover over this picture, there's now a little up-facing arrow. And when I click on that arrow, it allows me to now upload a photo. If there's not one here, it would, just allow me to upload a photo. But as you can see, I can change my photo. Okay. Something else that's pretty cool is you can click on the picture itself or the initials if you don't have a picture, and it will actually bring you to your employee information, employee account, and kind of that employee HR record. Okay, so this looks significantly different than what it looks in the old UI. But you have the option to toggle back to the old UI in the top right-hand corner where it says New Look, a little button. If I wanted to go back to the old UI, I can uncheck this box and it takes me back to the old UI. I'm going to kind of recommend not getting used to doing that. Try to get used to using this new profile, which I'm going to review with you in a second, because this toggle button will be going away at the next release. Okay, so if you do get stuck, you have that safety net, but try your best to try to start using these profiles. It's actually really intuitive. So you still have your tabs up at the top that you're used to seeing on an employee's account. And then these words basically are hyperlinks to the different parts of the employee's account. Now, this is my own account as this demo company, but when you as an administrator or a manager looks at an employee's account, you're going to see something very similar to this. So you notice it says jump to. These are hyperlinks. Just like a lot of the other parts of the system, anywhere that you see blue words, those are hyperlinks, shortcuts basically to other parts of the system. So if I wanted to change a manager, I'm just going to click on managers. It's bringing me right to that manager section. And now all I have to do is then find the manager that I want to change to. Okay, so much simpler navigation for the employee account. So we'll go back to the dashboard. The next thing I wanted to talk about is really the dashboard, like changing the dashboard. We have, since the new UI was released, we have the new UI profile. If your company was just rolled out or has been rolled out for quite some time, we configured that dashboard for most of our companies. And a lot of administrators and managers, we've added these tabs going across the top for you. And you may already know that you can add charts to those tabs. Well, all that's still available, but we've added some extra really cool things. So if I come right here to this Edit Tabs option, I can actually add tabs that are custom, and I can label them whatever I want them to be labeled. You also see that I can see the tabs that are already here. So if I click on this domain tabs, you can see that I can actually remove. So if I wanted the succession planning tab to go away, I could have this to actually be deleted. So I can turn this off where it's not displaying. Okay. So you can simplify your dashboard, and then you can add custom tabs to the dashboard. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and add one. So I'm going to click this little add button, and I'm going to say reports. I'm going to say my reports. You can have, give this any label. Just know if you label them long, it will shorten it and kind of hide it a little bit. But if you hover over it, you'd be able to see that label. So we'll just go ahead and do save here. Now you can see I have a tab called My Reports. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the windows that you're seeing here. Okay, within this dashboard that I'm on. I'm on My Information. This has information related to me, and then I have my task. And you see all these little windows that I've added here. These are my tasks that maybe I do on a daily basis. Let me show you how you build these windows. So we'll build our windows from My Reports. You may see tabs that are blank, similar to what we're seeing now. To add information here, you can click this little add button right here, or you can click right here in the center. I'll just choose this way. From here, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, I want to add a report to this tab. You can have 9 windows on each dashboard. Okay, so now what I want to do is try, these are reports that I have saved or others have saved and shared with me. So I want this to be more of like a time management report. So let's see if we can find some. So I'm going to do the, let's see, let's just do the checklist not complete. So this is kind of an HR item. And then maybe I want to also add current timesheets. So this is kind of the report for current timesheets. So I'm going to go ahead and apply. Before I click apply, notice there's another tab up here at the top, charts. We're going to come back to that in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply. This is shortcuts to those reports, but these are drillable reports. You can actually drill down into this data. So if you can see, this is a checklist item. This is the current timesheet. So if I wanted to see Kevin, I can click this little drop down and it gives me a summary. Okay, maybe I don't like this view. Maybe this is kind of too scrunched up. I can actually click this little button here, looks like a bullet point, and it will reposition these where I have a little bit more real estate on the dashboard for the report. Okay, so now I can say, I can actually click into the icons. Okay, but if I like that kind of simplified, right on the dashboard summary view, you can always go back to that. But if I wanted to see a little bit more information, quickly get into maybe editing a timesheet or something like that right from this screen, I could do that. So simply coming into this, clicking edit timesheet brings me right to whichever employee. Okay, so I just want to click back into this view so you can, again, just kind of get an idea. This is giving me that summary of hours without even having to go into the timesheet. So if I'm just curious about something. Okay, so that's kind of the drill down option. You also might see things like these little dots here. So these are, again, shortcuts to these sections. So all of the reports work like this, where you can drill down into the data. The other thing that I had mentioned I was going to cover is adding a chart. So all of these tabs that are across the top, you're able to add a chart or a report, and charts are built from reports. If you've seen any of the training videos that we've done, you understand how to build a chart. But for this example, I'm just going to pull in a, let's see, exceptions by day. So this is kind of a time chart. So if I wanted to see which employees are late on Fridays over the last 90 days, this is a chart that I could add right on the dashboard. And if you're familiar with the charts, you can, again, click on this and it will actually drill down into that data further. So charts are really cool. Talk to your CSR if there's some charts that that you want to add. Okay, and the last thing I was going to cover with you before turning it over to Brittany is going to be the widgets. So if I go back to my information, you see I've got some things on here that don't look like reports, right? There's been a lot of improvements over the whole UI update to give you shortcuts to various things through the system. Adding widgets is part of that. So if I go to add here, again, there's a widget option. Remember, you can only have 9 widgets or charts or reports on the dashboard on each one of these. So if I go back here, I'm going to do add widget. This is a list of the widgets that are available. You can see there's a few really cool ones that we've had a lot of our customers ask for, like attendance board. All I have to do to add this widget is just check this box. Also, like the My To-Dos, the little bell item in the top right-hand corner, that's what my mailbox is. So you can add these just by checking this, clicking add, and apply. So now you have those cool widgets that was available in the old UI, and now they've came back, to the new UI, just much more improved. Again, these are drillable, similar to the way that we looked at the reports earlier. All right, so Brittany, are you ready to go ahead and start reviewing the scheduler and the timesheets?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you, Misty.
You're welcome. I'm just going to stop my share.
All right. All right, you can see my screen now?
Absolutely.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the new functionality added to requesting a time off. So as soon as an employee goes to request a time off, they have full visibility into seeing what their balance is for each bucket. So looking up here, I can see what's currently accrued, any time scheduled or pending approval. And if I want to see my other balances, I can just select the drop down from here and then quickly see how much time I have before I go ahead and request that time off. Now, to request the time off, the employee can just select the time off at the top up here, and then they can just select the days on the calendar. So if they want to do multiple days, it can just highlight everything in blue, and then clicking Start Request, the system's going to grab those multiple days, and they would just submit this off to their manager, and then it would post to their timesheet as soon as their manager goes ahead and approves it. And any time that's pending would also show on this calendar as well as approved time, as well as holidays. So as soon as you send a time off request, you will see this little bar. It's waiting for manager approval. Now, the next thing I want to go through is the updates to the timesheet experience. So there is a brand new feature that allows managers to have the mobile view on desktop for not just their own timesheet, but for the people that they manage, their employees. So currently I'm logged in as a manager. So I'm going to go to one of the manager's employees. So this is the mobile view on desktop. What's nice about this, the screen's kind of consolidated because we got rid of the exceptions tab. Now we can push out new exceptions and manage existing exceptions all from this screen right here. So we have the exceptions triggering on the left-hand side, but a manager can go ahead and clear them out or force an exception by clicking the ellipses over here and manage exceptions. If they want to get rid of an exception that is naturally triggering for the employee, they would just select the little trash can over here. And if they want to push out an exception, they would just click Add down here, choose the exception, and then click OK. All right. So also, the employees do have access to view mobile view for their own timesheet, but they will have less access. So I'm just going to hop over and show you the employee's view of their timesheet. So this is Michael looking at his own timesheet. He can't edit any of the times, but he still has this nice clean view. Okay. Another item that is new with this release is an update to Attestation. So before this release, Attestation would work. It would trigger at punch out or when a timesheet has been submitted. But now with the release, you can actually trigger Attestation at punch in. So I'm going to go up here and punch this employee in. Actually, they're out for the day. Let's click punch out, and then we'll punch back in again. Okay, so once the employee punches in, this is just a custom question you can ask an employee as soon as they come in for the day. Okay, and down here, the employee would just say yes or no, and then the manager would be able to get an attestation report with their responses to this question and whatever any other questions may be configured for this employee. Now, another nice update we had to the advanced scheduler is now employees are able to see their peers' schedules. So logged in as an employee, I'm just going to go over to this tab over here. This employee can see the other employees working today. So as long as the schedule is posted, employees will have access to see who they're working with or who in general is just on schedule for their department. I'm going to jump back into my manager view and go through some advanced scheduler updates for a manager. Okay. So now I'm in as a manager. There's been an update, so I can easily copy and paste shifts as well as delete shifts in mass. So if I go to ellipses up here, I can do a, oops, missing the setting. Oh, sorry, never mind. If I want to click multiple shifts at once, let's say I want to select these 3 shifts here. I'd want to just hold down the control button, and I'll be able to select these shifts. And all at once, I would just click again, and I can just unassign the employee, which would create these 3 shifts as now open shifts. Or I can just go ahead and delete these shifts, or I can copy. So maybe this employee down here, they're going to be working Wednesday and Thursday. I can just highlight, copy, and paste. Okay. And same idea, I can wipe out schedules all at once by just highlighting and then clicking delete. All right. Additionally, the mobile experience for Manager on Scheduler has greatly improved. Just give me a moment. I'm going to log on to the mobile view so you can see how a manager can go about updating a schedule for an employee. All right, so logged in as a manager. So going to the advanced scheduler area of the system, I don't have functionality to create new templates, but as long as I have schedules out there and created, I can freely add more shifts. I can edit existing shifts, as well as offer employees any open shifts I have. So clicking the double person icon and then schedules. Okay, I'm going to see all the schedules that this manager manages, and let's just go into a current one by clicking here. And then I have options I can view by month, view by week, view by day. Let's look at view by week. Okay, so I can use this top bar to just toggle to the right. If I have employees that are not scheduled, I can just click this toggle button to just see scheduled employees only. And then we have the functionality to just click into a shift. Okay, and I can easily manage it. Maybe they have to change their shift time or their skill. So they would just come to the screen and edit the shifts. If I want to add a new shift, I would just click the ellipses here and then add new shift. And then if I have some open shifts, which I do, and I want to fill some of these shifts on the go, I would just click Manage Open Shifts. And then it's going to show me all of my open shifts. And the system does a qualification check in the background. So you may have some employees who have permissions to work as a CSR, but some can only work it as an accountant. So the system's going to look at their scheduled cost centers and their skills and not offer them a shift that they don't have the qualifications to work. So you can select them all or maybe just one shift. And then the next step is just telling the system to do a check the qualifications of the employees. So this employee is the only one qualified. So I'm going to select their name. I can also have this new option down here to just send to all employees from the schedule. Or my next step here, telling the system, do I want manager approval or should we just allow them to pick up these shifts freely? And then last step, just tell the system, how far out should this employee be able to see this open shift for? All right. That's it for me. Does anyone have any questions?
We did get some questions in, excuse me. Brittany, regarding attestation, if they can't attest, do employees receive a message indicating they can't work in the office?
No. I can look in to see if there's any notifications we can set up by that, but by default, attestation is only going to notify the manager.
Thank you. And then I think this is for Misty. Where would you find the previous pay statements?
Okay, yeah. So on your dashboard, there's a widget, a window, if you will, that says My Pay. And Brittany, I can share my screen. Let me open this up and I'll just show that to everybody. Okay, so as long as you have, and I'm going to open this up really quick so you can see which widget it is. If you have the My Pay widget under the current widget section, then you'll see something that looks like this. Okay, tells you how long it is that is before you're going to get paid, but this is a hyperlink. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Anywhere that you see a blue words, those are hyperlinks to shortcuts. So if I click on My Pay, this opens up the last 3 recent paychecks. But if I wanted to go further back, I can simply click on historical and then I can put in whatever date I'm looking for.
Awesome. We also got a question that said, why doesn't the employee see the widgets on the dashboard after I added them in the new UI profile?
It sounds like if you've edited and added a if you've added a widget to a dashboard, the employee may not have access to maybe see that report in security permissions. Sounds like there's probably something in security permissions that needs to be edited. So if you have that issue and you can't get past it, definitely talk with your CSR, because there are some security settings and things like that would need to be turned on top of adding the widget. So.
How about just amending that question, the question before about pay statements. As an admin, if I'm looking to see my previous pay statements for employees other than My Pay, how would I find that?
There's a report for pay statement history or employees by pay statement. So you can add it as a report on the dashboard, or you can come under the hamburger menu and do a search for pay statements, and it would open up your options for your different pay statements. But under the double person icon and payroll, you have lots of options under here to view pay statements. Under reports, you have lots of options also. So I would, here's pay history. So as you can see, I'm drilling down into this information to get to pay statement details. So there's lots of different options for that. And definitely reach out to your CSR if there's a specific report that you're looking for or specific detail, and they can walk you through this.
How may I get more information on how attestation works? Attestation, sorry.
So definitely,
yeah,
definitely talk to your CSR. They can give you kind of the next steps for it. There is some configuration that goes into it based on what your individual company wants or needs. So first step is definitely reaching out to your CSR.
Can reports in My Saved Reports be added as favorites?
Yes, absolutely.
And then back to your employees' pay statements as an admin. You used to be able to see that on the employee's profile. Is that not an option anymore?
Used to be able to see the pay statements. If you were able to see that before, there shouldn't have been any changes to that, to my knowledge. So, let us know if you're seeing something different.
When I look at my timesheet on the computer, it still looks the same. Is there a reason for that?
There is. There's a setting in the Timesheet Profiles and Brittany kind of showed a little bit of it as soon as she started showing her screen. Within the profile itself, there's a button that you're going to, an administrator with the permissions to edit Timesheet Profiles would need to make that switch for you. So if you liked how those Timesheet Timesheets look, you know, again, reach out to your CSR. Just a really quick shift and change.
And in the attendance board, how do I know who's clocked in?
So if I go back to my reports, I think I added it to here. So right here, and again, this is a report. So, you know, I think by default, this column attendance status is showing like in, out, in, out. But if for some reason your report's been changed and it doesn't show that, you can actually come right here and add and remove your column. So you don't actually have to go into the report. You can add and change your report from here. But to answer your question, how do you know if somebody's in or out? It's right, it should be right here on the report when you add it.
Why don't I see any tabs on my dashboard?
So that is a security setting and also a new UI profile setting. So if you don't see tabs across the top, it's because it hasn't been turned on for you. For, you know, maybe your company administrator doesn't have those turned on, or during the new UI conversion, those weren't turned on. So if you feel like you need those, definitely reach out to your CSR.
I don't see ACA in the employee's profile page anymore. How do I add that?
There should not have been any changes to that. So if you need to change something on a profile, I'll go back to the Kathy's profile really quick. The same way that you would normally add before, you know, a section, you still have this little edit tabs section here. And when you click on edit tabs, this gives you your options to what you can add to the employee profile. So if you normally would have ACA, and shouldn't have been removed, but if it was for whatever reason, you should see ACA here, and it's a drag and drop where you can change what the tabs have within them.
That might actually be the answer to the next question. Is there a way to change the order of how the reports and widgets appear within a tab?
There is. It's a little bit of a different question. Great question. All of these are great questions, by the way. So you have an ellipses, I think is what this is called. I call them 3 dots. But if I click on these 3 dots, you can rearrange your tiles on every one of these tabs. So if I wanted my mailbox moved up, I just click on that, rearrange, and now I'm just going to up and down move things around wherever I want them. Now you can see my mailbox was moved.
Wonderful. I believe that's all the questions we have for today, unless any pop up, but thank you. Oh, wait, one more. Someone said that they're converting to the new UI tomorrow, actually. Will there be more videos offered that we can share with our employees to get used to the new interface? Something that's short, 10-minute videos.
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to this release, we had done some employee-facing training videos, some manager-facing training videos, and also these recordings similar to this that you're going to get after. They're also going to be available. They're on our website. So if you go to beyondpay.com, in the very top right-hand corner, there's a little button that says New UI. And if you click on that little new UI button, or words, I should say, it will open up the page that contains those videos. And you can share that with your employees. You can download them. They're basically YouTube videos. And you can share them whoever is appropriate. And also, if you're converting to the new UI tomorrow, you should have received a link directly to those videos. If you didn't, we can definitely get that to you.
Quickly, if we could go back to the attendance board, if I'm using the widget under the team tab and I don't see the in and out section that was mentioned earlier under my reports.
So what I've done is I've gone to the add button, and then I went reports and charts, and within the reports, I've I've saved, I've opened the attendance board, I've saved the attendance board, so it's showing up in this list of reports because I've saved the report. And then I'm simply adding the attendance board by clicking, say, this box and applying it. Once I do that, then the attendance board would show up here. And by default, I believe this column should already be in the report. And then from there, you can see the in and out. And then you can even click on it and drill down like this. I don't know if that answered the question. We can definitely reach out to you offline if you're still seeing something weird with the attendance board.
How do I know if I'm converting to the new UI and when?
You will be contacted. 98% of our clients are converted. We have a handful of other ones that'll definitely be converted by July 15th, and you're going to be contacted separately. Like, you're going to get a private email from an implementations consultant that's going to be rolling it out for you, and they'll give you all of the information you need related to when it's being rolled out and that sort of thing. So you should be, if you're not converted already, you should be. If you want to start converting now, definitely reach out to your CSR. We want to try to get everybody rolled out ASAP.
Awesome.
All right, all wonderful questions. I love the dashboards. I love all this new things that the system is doing now. You know, again, just make sure you guys do go in and look at those release notes, because there's a lot more really cool things happening. You know, get you know, more knowledge, you know, on exactly what all was released. And then future releases, this is just going to improve, you know, what's available, shortcuts, all of that's going to just improve every release. So thanks for all the questions. Thanks, Brittany and Liz. And thank you guys for attending. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks.